time for Tuesday Morning Quarterback, where each week CBS News special correspondent James Brown brings us top stories from the world of sports. And this week, it seems to be all about the coronavirus, as both the NFL and college football struggle to move ahead with their season, but they keep getting pushed back and pushed back. So let us bring in our favorite sports guy, James Brown. JB is the host of NFL Today and the Inside the NFL on Showtime, and he joins us now from their studios. Thank you so much for joining us, JB. We attempted to talk football yesterday, and then we just ended up talking about the coronavirus over and over again. By the way, did you have a good Thanksgiving?
As you can tell on the screen, a little too much. You and Vlad just always look so healthy. Clearly, I had a lot of salt content in my food because there's a little swellage happening in here. I tried to find a big coat to put on, but Vlad, I couldn't use the vest like you. So.
Why do you think I wear the vest, JB? It hides everything that's going on underneath it.
Listen, Vlad, please.
That's
anyway,
all right.
You, Anne-Marie, go ahead.
Just a little bit of extra water. That stuff, disappears after a while. So, JB, football is a big part of Thanksgiving for many families, but coronavirus was a major disruption this year. How did it interrupt one of the most cherished household traditions?
No doubt about it, and it's impacting the world of sports just like it is every place else. It's ticking up a little too much right now for the taste of the NFL leaders, the executives, if you will. You think about the Ravens at the Steelers. That game has been postponed. It was supposed to air on Thanksgiving Day. It's been moved 3 times. It will now take place tomorrow afternoon on a Wednesday at 3:40 in the afternoon. That's the first time since 2012 that has happened. And you look at the players there that have been impacted on each of the teams. Look, league officials have been very pleased up till this point, but like everything else around the country with the surge, it's happening in the world of sports. San Francisco right now cannot play in its stadium because Santa Clara County and San Mateo counties out there have said no contact sports. So for the next 2 games at least, the 49ers will be sharing the Arizona Cardinals facility, and we'll see what happens after that. So it definitely has had an impact. And look, repeat offenders who've not been following COVID protocols have been penalized. You think about the New Orleans Saints. They've been fined $500,000 and lose a 7th-round draft choice. The Las Vegas Raiders they'll be fined $500,000 and a 6th-round draft choice as a result. So the league is serious about teams following protocol. Some teams, like the Denver Broncos, had 4 quarterbacks in their meeting rooms. None of them wore masks. They couldn't play this past week, so they had to play a practice player who is actually a wide receiver, though he played in college at QB. And I give him all the credit in the world, young Mr. Hinton, but now teams are saying, wait a minute, that's competitive imbalance right there. So the league may take more drastic actions.
Let me ask you about Formula One, JB. This weekend over in Bahrain, the Formula One star Lewis Hamilton made headlines for more than just his excellent driving. Tell us about that.
Statistically, first of all, he is the greatest driver of all time in Formula One, a young man of color from the UK, from Britain. He won his 7th world title, a record-tying 7th world title with the iconic Mark Schumacher in that regard. But he also is passionate about using his platform to speak out on social issues. There were 3 citizens in Bahrain who wanted him to speak about the human rights abuses that are taking place there, being oppressed and tortured, quite frankly. And so this young man is very sensitive to that, and he's encouraged all of his other drivers to use the platform like you see the athletes here in the United States. He thinks it ought to be global because they've got a major platform to advocate on behalf of citizens around the world, and that's what folks are starting to do. Hey, by the way, you both will be impressed. He pockets a cool $47 million a year. His contract will be up, so I think he'll be standing on a gold-plated platform for the next things that really move him.
It suits him well, I would say. Did he also announce that he tested positive for COVID? Is he going to be missing a race?
Anne-Marie, can I say thank you very much for mentioning that? Yes, and there are only 2 more races left in the season, so he will. And he, like all others, had been following the COVID protocols extremely closely. He's a young man, 35 years of age, soon to be 36 next month. And he said he'd really been following them closely, but it shows you, and you too, you and Vlad know this far better than me in terms of your daily reporting on the challenges associated with COVID-19. But yes, he did test positive, so let's keep him in prayer and pray that his youthful and in great shape, his youth in his great shape will help him to ward it off very quickly. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. And, speaking of COVID, we were talking about the impact on football. And in a way, there's a little bit of a silver lining because with so many players out, other players are getting an opportunity to show what they got, right? But what happened over the weekend was definitely cause for celebration, and it had to do with women in football. When I read the script initially, I was like, are you talking about soccer? And then, no, she's a soccer star, but she made history in football.
That she did. Young Miss Sarah Fuller with Vanderbilt. Her team won the SEC soccer championship. She got pulled to the football team because they had some challenges with not enough players because of the COVID-19 challenges there. And so she was the first ever to play for a Power 5 conference, which Vlad will give you the details on, but they're the big-time schools in college sports. And so in the second half of the game, she kicked off the opening kickoff in the second half, thereby putting her foot and herself into the record books as a result. Loving what she's done. It was so nice. I believe you guys even have some footage of some of the young ladies around the country. I mean, little girls who were so excited about this. And if that doesn't make the case palpably why what women are doing in breaking the glass ceiling is so important, nothing does. And also, let me also mention that Callie, with the Cleveland Browns also took over as the position coach there, and she did a great job. The normal position coach was off with his wife celebrating the birth of their first child, so that's why she stepped up to become the position coach, and she knows the game. Look, intelligence is not unique to guys. It's across the sexes, period. And I'm so glad that these ladies are doing this because it's raising the hopes and ambitions of young ladies everywhere and opening the eyes of, yes, men. Thank you very much.
Yeah, JB. And I like JB that she got a huge shout out from Billie Jean King, who those of us of a certain age will remember when back in 1973, when I was a kid, she destroyed Bobby Riggs when he said that women were inferior on the tennis courts. That was a big moment. And to get that sort of torch passing from Billie Jean to Sarah, just saying, look, I recognize your accomplishments. Keep on doing what you do is pretty cool.
And pretty significant as well, too, Vlad, that it took place in a rough and tumble world of professional football, like rugby, like boxing. I mean, look, there's no barriers. The women bring as much to the table as anybody. Look, my mother, God bless her, 5 foot 5 inch tall. She carried a big stick, Vlad and Anne-Marie. We called her the sergeant, so if we can salute them when we're young, we can salute them when we become adults and older as well.
Amen to that,
Sergeant.
JB. Sergeant. I like that.